Okay, so first I'm going to introduce you to your supplies that you are sharing at your tables. So this little tray has white and black oil pastels. You're going to share those with everybody. This watercolor tray you're sharing with a partner next to you, as well as the water container. And I tried to pick out about medium-sized brushes. Now we're ready to get started. So we're going to be using the crayon resist technique, or if we want to get technical, the oil pastel resist technique. So the material that's in these oil pastels resists the water that you're mixing with the watercolor, so that you don't really have to worry about painting around your shapes. You can paint over your shapes and you're still going to see your designs. So we'll talk about that later when I get to the painting portion, but just kind of keep that in the back of your brains for right now. You're learning the crayon resist technique. Now, I am going to first pick up my black oil pastel, and I'm just going to have fun with the inside of my star shapes. I'm going to add whatever designs I can think of, whatever kind of things I like to draw. So maybe I draw some swirls. Oh, it broke. Maybe I even outline my star. I'm just kind of having fun. Now, here's something pretty cool. You can also add designs with the white. And I'm going to add the designs in the white with the white to my background. So let's say I just have some wavy lines. Now right now I can't really see it, but you're going to see what happens when I paint. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm also going to add designs to my stripes. So in every other stripe, I'm going to use white designs with only the white oil pastel. And in every other one, I'm going to use a black oil pastel. So if I use black oil pastel right here, I'm not going to use it right here. I'm going to skip down and go right here. So every other one, same with the white, every other one. Now, I want to think about Veterans Day as I'm making my designs. And one thing that I have trouble with as an artist, and I think every artist struggles with this, and that is coming up with ideas. I think that's the hardest job of an artist. Forget drawing things perfect, forget all that other stuff. It's the ideas that are really important. So one strategy I use is asking questions. So I think in my head, if I'm making something for Veterans Day, what kind of questions could I ask myself? Well, what would a veteran want to hear? Oh, well, what does a veteran do? Oh, that helps me come up with some ideas for what to draw. Oh, what do I like about the United States? So now I'm coming up with even words or pictures that I can put in these stripes by simply asking myself some questions about the subject that we're working with. So in just a second, I'm going to show you what that looks like when it's finished with the drawing. Okay, so here we have it. It's ready to paint. So obviously you can see the black, but you can't see the white designs that I did here. And here's what I learned about doing that. I had to press really hard, and I had to keep my design simple. Here's another thing I discovered. It was still hard to come up with ideas, and I had to think for a little while every once in a while. That meant that I had to sit and actually sit quietly for a second and just let the ideas come to me. Sometimes ideas don't pop into my brain, but if I sit for a second and really think about the problem, eventually I feel like I do come up with something. Another strategy that I used was repetition. So a lot of times we think of this as cheating, but it's not. It's a great thing to do in your artwork. So you're gonna see when I paint that I did some stars down here. Well, that was inspired by the stars up here. And it's perfectly okay to repeat ideas every once in a while. I also repeated my idea here, up here in the white, you will see. Now, here's the fun part. We get to do that crayon resist technique. So I'm gonna start by doing this red stripe, because you can't see the houses, and you're gonna see what happens when I use the right amount of paint and water. So with a crayon resist technique, you wanna make sure your water has a fair amount of water in, or your brush has a fair amount of water in it. It's not dripping, but if I squeeze it, I will see some drops come out. So I have that. And now I'm gonna get my red and mix it together a little bit. Notice I'm not mixing it with all the other colors. That's gonna make an ucky brown. I'm just kind of swirling it around in the red. I wanna be able to see the red on my brush. Now, I'm gonna paint it. I'm not worried about where my designs are because the crayon resist technique is gonna do that work for me. So as I paint around my designs, getting more paint whenever I need it, I'm gonna see the drawings that I created. Make sure as you draw with your oil pastels today, especially as you're using those white oil pastels, that you press fairly hard because that will help your designs show up like you see mine showing up here. Now I'm gonna keep painting my reds on here. I'm gonna paint my blue behind my stars and I'll show you what it looks like when that's done. All right, so voila, here's something similar to what it will look like when yours is done.